Hey everyone, welcome to this episode. We've got another really cool special guest for everybody, Cara Bognar. She is actually with Top Tier Lessons. She and her team have a really cool story that we just had to bring to you all. So, first off, I'm going to tell everybody a little bit about Cara and then we will let her tell us all about herself and what they do. So, what you've done is pretty impressive. You're a big team captain, engineer, founder of Top Tier Lessons, a marketplace where the NCAA college athletes can make money on their own terms, teaching the sport that they love. Student athletes connect with parents looking for in person sports lessons for their kids, and Top Tier handles the venue, payment, scheduling, and safety. And within the first year of launch, Top Tier has been recognized as a leader by Sports Illustrated, really cool, and worked with 6 universities to provide opportunities to their athletes. And now you're here with us in our area. So, is there anything else you want to tell us about you or your background or how this all came about?
Yeah, of course. And first of all, I want to say thank you so much for having me on the podcast today. And we could not be more excited about bringing this opportunity to Cincinnati. It's been a place that I visited a couple times. I've been super excited about just the incredible spaces that I've seen around the city, the surrounding areas. It's beautiful, truly. And I feel like it's completely, you never always see that as much. But after going there, I've truly fell in love with the city. And so for us, I started Top Tier Lessons actually about halfway through my undergraduate college career. So there was this big new bill called the Name, Image, and Likeness Bill that came out in 2021 that really changed the face of college athletics. So it allowed college student athletes to actually monetize based on their brand. So it's the reason why now you're able to buy jerseys from the University of Cincinnati basketball players, and they're able to actually receive royalties from those jerseys. But I'm a longtime swimmer, so I was lucky enough to be able to swim in college at the University of Illinois. And when NIL started to come out and truly show its colors, I recognized that there wasn't a huge opportunity for me and my teammates. For anyone who wasn't that top 1% of college athletes, there was a gap. And so I set out trying to find a way to truly make this new legislation equitable and accessible for all college athletes across the country. And something else about me is I'm the oldest of 5 kids. And we all grew up playing sports consistently. And there was always the problem of, you're looking for a coach, you're trying to find a great one that's a personality fit, that also has the expertise to help you and meet you where you are, especially as a child, which we all know there's a lot of different personalities there and they're all absolutely phenomenal. But it's really hard to find someone who actually fits that entire spectrum and has the knowledge and expertise to back it up. So with all of that together, I started to found Top Tier Lessons to match college student athletes with parents looking for sports lessons for their kids as a way to not only help the college athletes monetize their skills in a way that works for them, but also to provide truly accessible and great coaching opportunities for children in the community across all NCAA sponsored sports.
That's really cool. And I was from a family of 5 kids also, but I was number 2. I had an older brother, so
I'm
I can
one here, so it's been crazy.
I was like, I can relate to. There are a lot of personalities. It can be really great and really hectic. And those sports sometimes, like when we were growing up, my parents were like, well, you're all just playing the same sport this year. Like, we're all just putting you in the same league. Like, if you don't like it, whatever. We're not running.
Nope, exact same thing here. I dragged them all into the pool from a young age, and they're all better than me. So it's a really great spot to be in. It's much happier that way. My little sister actually, she just got third at the Olympic trials. So she is truly
Wow.
17. She's just going to go into her senior year in high school, and she got third in the country. She's heading off to Australia for Pan Pacs to represent Team USA now after just narrowly missing the Paris Olympics. So it's really cool to see kind of that progression through the family, what's happened, everything that's continued down the line. And I just couldn't be prouder. As an older sister, it's watching that is so much more impactful than really even accomplishing anything yourself. Because you guys all, anyone with children knows exactly what does it mean for your child to accomplish something more so than for yourself to accomplish something. And I think it goes the same way with younger siblings. There's just a different bond there, which has been phenomenal to see.
Yeah, I'm glad or that she's glad that you dragged her to that pool all those times.
Oh, I'm sure. I don't know if she was at like 4 to 6, but she is now at 17.
That's so cool. Um, so you talked already about kind of why you started it. Um, is there anything that you didn't touch on about kind of the passion behind that? I think you were pretty thorough, but just wanted to make sure if there was anything else you wanted to touch on.
Yeah, we can talk a little bit more about kind of the community bridge that we look to create and kind of what we do on that end. So, another big thing that we realized is college sports teams, while they are incredibly community oriented, it's very hard to access that divide. You see them on the TV, you see them on the screen, you see them playing in games, and you can kind of go show up, but to be able to actually have a conversation and interact more one on one with these athletes was something that there wasn't a lot of pipelines towards. So at Top Tier Lessons, we view our coaches as more than just coaches. They're role models, they're mentors, they're someone who is not unreachable in age and who can truly relate because, I'm 22 now. I just finished up my senior year swimming at the University of Illinois. And I distinctly remember what it was to be 10 years old, making one of my first meets and figuring out what does this mean and how does this work, and 12 trying to make like a zones meet the next step, and 14, 15 looking at maybe what's next, and then even all the way up to figuring out like, do I even want to swim in college? And so it's really cool to be able to create the connection of people who understand the entire pipeline, are very cool to the kids, which is sometimes very hard to really build that bridge and get that in, as you know. So something that they're excited about going to do, to see, to actually get out of the house and have that experience with people who are almost like hometown heroes. And just improving that accessibility pipeline has been incredibly important to us too. So we work with park districts. We host clinics and camps outside of just our private lessons to make sure that we're providing opportunities to impact the largest number of people from the community with the lowest barrier entry rate. And so that's why we go out and we do these larger scale events, and we start that up from the ground up to supplement just the private lessons, because we know how important it is to have an incredible role model, an amazing mentor to help you along that way. And we've seen these results. And so it's just so amazing to be able to work a job where every day for a living, all I get to do is truly help make dreams come true. And I really couldn't think of a better thing to be able to do out of college.
That's really, really cool. And that mentorship aspect is so important. I know it was for me growing up, just trying to find people, whether it was sports or, because there were a couple people like, that were high school seniors, that I looked up to. But like I remember volleyball, it was volleyball and soccer were my two that I was obsessed with growing up, even though my parents made me play other ones. So, but one, like when volleyball, I used to remember because it was like a combined, like middle school all the way through high school. And then when she, was gone and in college, like, I didn't keep in touch with her. There was no social media then when I was in middle school. So, um, just having that for kids, like I still remember her and like wishing that I could have like had that impact. And again, like you said, a college student is way more cool than your parents. And kids are probably way more likely to listen to them. So to have a cool person to kind of give them that guidance, like, in sports translates into life in so many different areas. Um, just the work ethic, being able to work with people and like that, life is a team sport. So it's really cool that you're able to do that. Also helping the college athletes, earn what they should, but then that resource for parents and the kids is really important. So I'm really excited. I'm sure there's going to be others that are too. Let's see. So specifically with each lesson, can you tell us what is the goal?
Yeah, so really the goal of each lesson is personalized to each child. That's why we are doing such a big emphasis on individualized private lessons. While we do offer, you can bring in 2, 3 kids, but we really focus mostly on small group and very private lessons because each child is completely different from the other. And so, what we do as the goal of each lesson, we actually sit down with the coach and the child and the parent at the start of each lesson, and we talk through where they are. We meet them where their skills are at, what they're looking to do, where they're looking to grow, and what they're looking to learn. And then the coach, our coaches have, many of them have been coaching for 5 or 6 years, and they have, 15, 18 years of experience in the sport, which, they've been doing this ever since they were a child themselves. And so they're able to kind of take exactly where the kid is at that moment and create that progression plan for them to take those next steps to reach the goal that they're looking for. So maybe it's making that travel team. Maybe it is hitting a time standard in something like running or swimming. Maybe it's making sure that your average goes up and increases depending on what sport that you're looking for. And so that's one thing that we really pride ourselves on, is making sure that we do have that personalized aspect that sits there and shows true growth and progression. We've had people come back and say that they've, learned more in just 1 to 2 lessons than they have in a couple months of team practices. Because, sometimes when you're on a team, it's easy to be overshadowed. And it makes sense. You have 20, 30 kids out on a field. There's no way that it's possible to show individualized attention consistently at the rate that's needed for true improvement every single day. And so we see ourselves kind of as a supplement to team sports, because it's really important for children to get that aspect of, leadership, teamwork, everything that you learn through having to navigate through things with a team and, figuring out conflict resolution. But we're there as a supplement on the side to really help hone in on those individual skills, even like talking through conflicts, because there's always things like anxiety before a game that you don't always realize comes up and comes in. But as college athletes, we face that more than almost anybody. And so we know what it looks like at a young stage to continue that forward, and can really be there to help as a guiding hand and really show that part there. So we've had goals everywhere from, wow, we've worked with 3-year-olds in learning how to swim. And the goals there are related to water safety. So if they fall in the water, we want to make sure that they can flip around to their back, get to the wall, and get out. At the very least, blow bubbles, which just, only sport that saves lives. So something I'm incredibly passionate about, to a 6-year-old who his goal was he wanted to go off the diving board. And so we progressed to a point where he just swam his first 25 freestyle actually last week. So incredibly proud of everything there. And as a reward, he got to go off the diving board because we worked together in the deep end to get over his fear of deep water. And now he won't stop going off the diving board, of course, because that's how it is. And, we've seen things in basketball, which are just making sure that they want intros into the sport, because joining a team at the start can be intimidating. And it's a big commitment to join a team for a large chunk of time. You have to commit up front. You don't know if your kid's going to like it yet because they're 9, right? Like, there is no way that you're going to be able to truly understand what that looks like. And so now he's entirely on a team. He loves it. It's a sport. It's amazing. And then you look at like baseball. We've helped progress into different averages to continue that forward, to make that travel team, softball, lacrosse, tennis. We've seen it across the board, which is why it's so incredible to be able to, we don't know everything, but our coaches do for their individual sports. And so we're just here to provide those opportunities and connections to build those relationships so they can meet the children where they are, to progress them on their own individual paths, and to continue to move that forward.
That's really cool. So how do parents book one of those lessons, and then how do they stay updated and informed through all of it?
Yeah, so we're actually pretty unique with the way that we handle lesson bookings. Is we know how busy parents are. Oldest of 5. I have seen exactly what that means in a household. And, you just have to get there. It's not the same every week. It is always a little bit of chaos, organized chaos most of the time. But, it feels like we're all just kind of barely hanging on sometimes. And so it's tricky to do it. So what we do is we offer lessons at flexible times almost 7 days of the week. So how it works is a parent is able to go on to toptierlessons.com. They're able to enter their location, enter the sport they're looking for, the time of day, the day of the week, everything like that, and browse the selection of coaches that we have coaching from University of Cincinnati and soon to be Xavier as well. So bringing on those colleges. And our coaches actually upload their own time availability. So some of them might be available from 6 to 8 p.m. Monday through Saturday. Other ones like, 11 to 1 during the summer, Monday through Sunday. And so because of that flexible scheduling, as a parent, you're able to find a time and place that actually fits in for your schedule without having to commit to 12 weeks at Saturdays at 1 p.m. consistently and, do that upfront payment, do everything like that, just go through 2 lessons and be like, well, maybe this isn't the right fit. And so we really encourage booking an initial lesson to be able to just get that off the ground, get that started, test that out, see if you have that connection with the coach, because we know how important it is to continue doing those lessons. We've seen them once to twice a week to really show consistent growth and improvement and getting that started out. So you go on site, you browse the coaches, you read their bios, you see about them, you learn more about them, and you're able to choose one that you think will fit best for you and your child. From there, you're able to select a time slot based on those coaches' uploaded availability and go ahead and get taken directly to the booking page where you enter things like your child's name, age, goals for the session, notes for coaches to make sure that they know at least an initial starting point to where they're looking to grow and work on, and as well as select a venue from one of our community partners. So we work with YMCAs, park districts, spaces like that around the community to make sure that there's always a safe and accessible space for lessons to be held. But our coaches will also come to you. We don't allow lessons at homes for safety purposes, but if there's a public park, a venue that you have in mind that's closer to you, closer to your home, you're welcome to enter that into the venue space, and we'll actually meet you right where you are because we're all about just improving accessibility for that. Once you do that, you're taken directly to the payment page. You're able to pay that in there. You'll receive an email confirmation and a text confirmation that your booking has been scheduled. And after that, all you need to do is just show up at the right place at the right time, because we really want to make things as easy as possible, as streamlined as possible. So we've eliminated having to remember to bring cash or Venmo or when was my session again, or, oh, can we do it this Saturday or the next, with our easy scheduling process entirely online. And then if you're interested in just staying updated, because maybe it's the middle of season, you want to do this eventually, but maybe not today because it just doesn't fit in with your schedule or anything that's going on, because that happens all the time. You're welcome to go on to toptierlessons.com and you can sign up for our newsletter, which we send weekly, and it has things like meet the coaches, different tips and tricks for parents of aspiring athletes and current ones as well. I mean, I think our last one last week was just really, really good. Different like snacks to bring to games and swim meets and running meets and anything that looks like that, because it's hard to fuel an athlete, which I think a lot of people definitely know, or a growing child at that matter. And so everything like that. And this week, actually, we're doing an inside look into swimming Olympic trials to see what did that look like behind the scenes and everything like that. And so it's just some really, really cool stuff, a great way to stay updated on exclusive events, opportunities, free camps and clinics that we do with the community, and kind of keep that going forward.
Awesome. So you talked about safety a couple times. I know that's really important for parents. So besides like the location, like, how do these college athletes get vetted and get part of your system? What's kind of more the safety that you guys try to control as much as possible?
Of course. So we have a full verification process to make sure that the people who are listed as coaches on our website are actually who they say they are. So making sure that they are current eligible college athletes, which means they've been third-party background checked by the NCAA, which is probably the most extensive background check that you could potentially get. I mean, we're talking about, blood draws for drug testing consistently, and just things that are so much more extreme than you would typically see in any sort of, quick online background check. And so we have that going on, as well as a manual verification of each athlete coming on platform. So it's important to keep that manual because technology is phenomenal, but it can make mistakes. And so what we do is every coach on platform has been triple checked with their roster photo, with their student ID, making sure that they are current students, they are eligible, they are who they say they are, and they're able to coach lessons. On top of that, we have a comprehensive training curriculum that we work through them with, which talks about everything, because our coaches, I mean, many of them are coming in with 4 to 6 years of coaching experience already, but we still want to make sure that they have all the tools in their toolkit to be able to create the best experience possible for each lesson. And so we do all of that. All of our lessons are insured, so both for accident and general liability coverage and protection, to make sure that, again, things happen. Football to the face. We all know that, especially as parents, that there is always a couple little things that will kind of go forward. And so that's been incredibly important to us, not to just protect the children, but also to protect our college athletes, because they are amazing. But we as a company feel that it is our responsibility to truly help and create as many open pipelines as we can with full transparency, so we're not putting them in any situations that don't make sense. On top of that, it is only coaching in public, accessible venues, which we know that homes can be easier sometimes, especially if you have a background pool or, a basketball hoop in the front yard. But truly, we do put them in public parks and public spaces because it is a lot better for everyone. And the last thing that we do is, as a parent, you do need to be there for the lesson. If it is a one-on-one with the coach and the child, we do require that you stay for the lesson. If it is a small group lesson or you bring another kid, that's okay. You can go grocery shopping. But if it's a one-on-one lesson, we do want to make sure that you are there. And we know that it is an inconvenience at times, but it is incredibly important to us that we have that there. And as well as a parent, you're welcome to watch, to listen, to learn, because there's things that you can work on too at home.
Yeah, that's really good information. And one thing that I personally have fallen in love with Cincinnati over all these years, we moved here, and my daughter was, I think she had like just turned 4 when we moved here. But the park system, like the great parks of Cincinnati, like you can find a park like in pretty much every neighborhood. On top of that, like, and usually like in conjunction with the parks, there's the Cincinnati rec centers, and a lot of them, most of them have pools, and this is the first year since COVID that every single pool is back open. So it's all like a lot of like free,
yeah. To run those. The Cincinnati Recreation Commission is truly amazing. The YMCA's in the area are phenomenal. It's just, it's awesome to see the community come together to create spaces for this type of thing to happen.
Yeah, and the fact that most of it is free, or maybe only like a couple dollars, at the most, to use the pool. Like, so parents aren't going to be like nickel and diming themselves to try and get a lesson out in public somewhere. Like Cincinnati is a really perfect area for that.
Couldn't agree more.
So I think we covered almost everything. You told us some of the stories, like just briefly, just some examples of like some of the successes. But is there like one or two of like your absolute favorite, most cool stories from your time so far that you could share with us?
For sure. One of my favorites actually came from basketball. So we had a 7-year-old little boy who started taking lessons with one of our women's basketball players at the University of Illinois. And so on his 3rd lesson, he actually showed up wearing her jersey, which was a really incredible moment for the player to be able to see that, because one of the most rewarding things you can do as a college athlete is be able to give back to people that were where you were, people that are where you were when you were growing up. We all remember exactly what that's like. And so for her to see a kid that she'd been working with in the community to come and show his support to her wearing her jersey was truly phenomenal. And then fast forward, a month or two later, for his birthday, he asked for season tickets to the University of Illinois women's basketball games. So he was able to sit there in that front row and support his coach and see her play in the court with the lights and the fire and all of the jazz, and then still go back, meet her at his local park, and get that one-on-one coaching together. So that sort of bond and connection, especially, I'm a sucker for women's sports as well. So, I will always be there to support and continue to drive that forward and see that needle move. And I mean, it's been amazing, especially basketball, volleyball, soccer, what we've seen in the past year and a half, 2 years. It's a long time coming, but incredible to see. But to see that
Yeah.
on a smaller level, on a community-based level, on something that's tangible that you can hold on to, grasp onto, and see that continuing forward is amazing. I don't know how many other places that you're able to, get that one-on-one experience with a coach and then translate that into going to see them play, turning on your TV and watching them on the screen, still at kind of the same price that you would get from a normal private coach in the area, which is a really cool opportunity there. And, we've seen so much in swimming. We've seen so much in soccer. We've had soccer coaches inviting kids to games that aren't even open all the time to the public, knowledge and things like that, just to offer them that chance to see them play. So I think my favorite stories, they really all revolve around the theme of the translation from that one-on-one setting to seeing them in a game and the connections that are created through watching that, because it's hard to be what you can't see. And something like
Yeah.
Top Tier Lessons really creates the opportunity for every child, no matter where they're coming from, no matter what they're doing, to find someone who is like them, who they want to be, who they can bring forward, and they can see them up here. And that helps kind of light the path to get there. We create the step ladder. We find a way to bring that up, because the motivation, the idea of where can I go from here? What does this mean with what I'm doing right now outside of just really having a great time is so important for us to continue doing that forward. And I mean, recently I even coach myself on platform, so I coach swim lessons because it's amazing. I don't know how many other companies that I can jump around, I can run the company, and then on the other end, I'm a supply. I get to go out there and I get to be the coach on the ground, meet our customers, work with kids, see that going forward, it's really rewarding when everyone who runs the company is also giving back to their community and doing what they can to provide those opportunities moving forward.
Yeah, that is really cool. I am glad that even though, because you just wrapped up or you were finishing?
Wrapped up this spring, so I'm full time on Top Tier Lessons. It's lucky enough to turn this into a career after college.
Yeah, but the fact that, trying to juggle college and starting a business, and also still trying to participate in doing the coaching and stuff. So it's amazing that you made time and made space for that. I think that's something as moms we struggle with that we're always trying to do is how do
Do
we
everything.
balance everything? Yes.
Is what it is, truly. Every mom's a super mom, no matter what. I know my mom is for sure. I still don't understand how she raised all five of us, and nothing went too awry at the very least. So it's truly
I
cool.
know. Yeah, my husband and I both grew up in families of five kids. He was the baby, I was the second in mine. And we only have one, and she's almost 15 now. So we've like almost made it through. But there's been so many times over the years when we're like, we can barely do this with one. Like, how did our parents do this with five of us? Like, just like amazed all the time. And both of our moms always are like, are you sure I was a good mom? And all that. We're like, you were amazing. Like, you have no idea. You made the best memories. Like, most of the bad stuff that was happening, we didn't even know because they would make it fun and just let us be kids. And so, yeah. So,
Shout
even
out to all the
though
moms out
sometimes
there, all
I know,
forms, because it is the most difficult career. It is the most difficult job that you can have, truly, after seeing it. And don't personally know, but so much respect for my own mom, for my grandmother, for everyone who's done their part and helped us be where we are today. Because I'm proud to say that my mom especially has been such an influence on starting Top Tier Lessons. Like, I will still call her all the time because she helped teach us how to swim, and now she's a family of five swimmers, like with a bunch of them in college doing different things. And I'll be like, hey mom, like, I'm working with a 5-year-old right now and they don't like putting their head in the water. Any tips and tricks? And she'll send me 6 things because she knows all. Truly. Like, I'm 22 and I still think my mom knows everything. So it is really a
Yep.
cool space to be in, and just see that continuing forward because it's so important.
Yes. Well, I bet she's so proud of you. And again, yeah, I love what you've created, what you're doing, and the fact that it's coming to parents that are in the greater Cincinnati area. So yeah, we'll make sure to link for everybody in the description, your website, so they can get to it easily. But yeah, is there anything else you want to leave us with?
Yeah, one last thing for any moms who made it to the end of this podcast. I just want to say thank you so much, and also let you know that to celebrate our launch in Cincinnati, we have a special promotion going on for $20 off your first lesson, just to try it out and see what that looks like. So you can use the code CLINIC20, all caps, so CLINIC 20, to be able to at checkout just have $20 off your first lesson, because we just want to make sure that we're increasing that pipeline, getting as many people as possible the opportunity to interact with University of Cincinnati athletes, and really not just for the athletes but also give the opportunity to all the children in the community. So thank you so much, and it's been an absolute pleasure being on the podcast.
Yay. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Can't wait to see what all you do and hear all the stories about all our local college athletes and the kids that get to learn from them. So, yay. So, thank you so much.
Absolutely, thank you.
Thanks so much for tuning in. If you like this content, make sure to click the like button, share with a friend, and hit the bell to subscribe and be notified when we have new stuff to share. Doesn't cost anything, so why not? Scan the QR code to be taken to our site and see all the new stuff that we put out every week.